What PGA Tour rules trigger a golf playoff for a tie? Imagine finishing a long day of golf, tied for first place, with everyone eager to see who wins. How do they decide who takes home the trophy? Well, that's where playoff rules come into play. When players finish a tournament tied for first after the scheduled rounds, the rules kick in to break the tie and crown a winner. In most PGA Tour events, the tournament is played over for rounds of 18 holes each, totaling 72 holes. If after these rounds, two or more players have the same lowest score, a playoff is triggered. The goal is to find a clear winner, so they don't leave the tournament without a champion. The most common playoff format on the PGA Tour is called sudden death. In this format, players compete hole by hole. The first player to score lower than the others on a hole wins the tournament immediately. They keep playing one hole at a time until someone wins a hole outright. It's quick and exciting because the winner can be decided on the very next hole. Some tournaments, especially major championships, use an aggregate playoff. For example, the PGA Championship plays a 3-hole playoff on specific holes. Players' scores over these 3 holes are added together, and the lowest total wins. If players are still tied after the 3 holes, they switch to sudden death to finish the job. The U.S. Open has a slightly different approach. It uses a 2-hole aggregate playoff. Players compete over 2 designated holes, and the combined scores determine the winner. If they are still tied after these 2 holes, the playoff continues into sudden death rounds. Knowing these rules is important for players because it influences their strategy. If they're in a sudden death playoff, they might play more conservatively or aggressively depending on the hole. If it's an aggregate playoff, they need to focus on scoring well over multiple holes. The playoff holes are often chosen because they are challenging and can produce a clear winner. For example, in the 3-hole playoff at the PGA Championship, holes 16, 17, and 18 are used. These holes are famous for their difficulty and excitement. It's also good for fans to understand these rules because they add drama to the tournament's conclusion. Watching players battle it out in a playoff makes for some of the most exciting moments in golf. Whether it's sudden death or an aggregate format, these rules help ensure a definitive winner is crowned on the day. So, in summary, a playoff is triggered when players are tied after the regular for rounds. The format depends on the event, but most often it's sudden death or an aggregate playoff, with specific holes designated for the challenge. These rules keep the competition fair and thrilling until the very last shot.